Yo, what is going on, guys? Matthew V. Haynes, aka the Clockmaster here. Right now, we're going to talk about a couple of things, starting with The Lion King. So if you guys haven't heard by now, the live-action reboot for The Lion King is set to be directed by Jon Favreau. It is also supposed to be starring Donald Glover as Simba and James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Jon Favreau on his Twitter page, and I quote, stated, "I just can't wait to be king. Hashtag Simba," with a picture of Donald Glover at the top. Also, right after that, he also tweeted at 7:52 p.m. looking forward to working with this legend. Hashtag Mufasa. Now, guys, a little bit about the whole live action thing. If you guys have seen The Jungle Book, which Jon Favreau also directed, I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of 2016. I think it was really good. And one of the things I loved about it, besides the direction, especially with dialogue, was how all the animals looked and how they were operating with each other. They were animals, but they all had these humanistic type of traits and characteristics. I have absolutely no doubt in Jon Favreau's abilities to make this a great film as what we've seen. You know, will it be as great as the original? Who knows, but I have no doubt that it won't be great. Donald Glover's actually working on the Han Solo standalone film from Disney and Star Wars, and he's supposed to be playing Lando Calrissian, the younger version of Lando Calrissian. So Donald is pretty much getting his foot in the Disney ground, and he's doing what he has to do, and he's working there. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. Also, do not forget that there's words in the mix of a Mulan live action film. So Disney's doing their thing, guys, and I can't wait to see where they're going forward with that. Next up, guys, we have Wonder Woman. So a couple of pictures were released over the weekend concerning Wonder Woman and the upcoming Wonder Woman film, but the one picture that stood out the most was the toy picture of Ares. Various sources are claiming that Ares is supposed to be played by Harry Potter actor David Thewlis, and is supposed to be a mix of practical effects and CGI. Now, one of the things that there's a lot of buzz surrounding this is that we haven't seen any footage of Ares or anything concerning Ares in the Wonder Woman trailers that we had so far, and the little TV spots and everything like that, and the teasers. We haven't seen anything from Ares, and there's a couple of theories going around. And one of the theories I have is that Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder and everyone else, they're not trying to show too much of the villain, as far as they made that mistake with Doomsday in BVS. Now, you probably heard a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of other people talk about this, but that's one of the main things that is surrounding this whole thing, as if they're going to make that mistake again by showing too much and completely obliterating the whole surprise. So that could be one theory, and another theory is just that they're obviously still in editing, guys. It's another reason too. They're still in editing. They're still editing a lot of things. So I would hope that they're not showing, they're not going to show anything regarding Ares in the trailers, because I don't want them to ruin the element of surprise, because that whole thing would just take away from getting everyone excited. We were excited initially when we saw Doomsday in the BVS trailer, but a lot of people were disappointed. They were like, "Oh my gosh, Doomsday, we see him. There's nothing else more we have to offer." And then when we went to BVS, which, while I thought it was a fantastic film, a lot of people were like, they pretty much ruined everything through all the trailers. We pretty much seen the whole movie through the trailers. So I just hope that Warner Brothers has learned their mistake from that, and they do not, if they're going to release another trailer, because Wonder Woman is set to come out around June, actually, they should not show any footage of Ares in this at all. They should leave him out completely. It's okay to, maybe tease an arm or tease a sword or tease a shield or something, but do not show the whole villain. I don't want them to do that. Now, since we're on the topic of Wonder Woman and the DCEU, which brings me to the title of this video: is the DCEU dead? Is it going to die? Is it going to go away? What's happening with that? So a lot of you guys might have heard or may not have heard of this, but Matt Reeves is supposedly left the negotiations with Warner Brother as directing Batman, the standalone Batman film that is set to be in production with Warner Brothers. So here's my whole thing about this. I mean, do I think that the DCEU is dead? Absolutely not. I don't think so, because I mean, yes, has Warner Brothers and the DCEU made mistakes? Yes, they have. I don't think it's dead for the main reason as the main fact is that they have a lot of fans. They have a strong fan base, and it's not like their movies did not do well, because initially their movies will do pretty okay. They will do pretty good in the box office, and there's a lot of comic book fans that will go and give these movies a shot. But while there's a lot of other comic book fans and a lot of other people in general that don't want to give the DCEU another shot anymore, they don't want to see another film, they don't want to waste their money, they don't want to waste their time. And I can understand that perspective, but you cannot be, and I've also seen a lot of people talking about this. You have people really excited about the DCEU, and they're like, oh, Wonder Woman is this, and then we have Batman, and then we have Justice League and everything, like they're excited about it. But then you want to call it dead, but you're excited about it, which doesn't make any sense to me, guys. So, look, yes, were there problems in Suicide Squad? There were a lot of problems in Suicide Squad. Were there problems in BVS? There were a few problems in BVS. Like I said, it's one of my favorite films of 2016. If you guys have not seen my top 10 best films of 2016, I'll leave a link to that video in the description box if you want to check it out. I thought Man of Steel was completely error-free, in my opinion. Don't shoot me in the comments for this, but this is just my opinion. And I happen to be a comic book fan. Like, I actually read comic books, and so I know when these film companies, they leave things out and they don't put certain things in, or they don't represent the character right, and that's some of the mistakes that the DCEU and the DC Cinematic Universe is making, and this is the whole thing. It's like, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe if someone at Warner Brothers sees this video, what I'm saying right now, you need to listen to your fans. You need to really try to follow the source material the best way you can, because the only way to save the DCEU is if you represent the characters the right way. The characters need to be represented in the right way, and the story, especially the story, needs to be represented in the right way. Take a page out of Disney and Marvel's book, for example, okay? While there are a few minor errors within certain plot lines within the MCU, one core thing that Marvel never forgets is the representation of their characters in the right way. You need to have your character representation right. You need to follow what is going on with these characters, because some of these characters were made to be a certain way or to do a certain thing. For instance, if you look at the Luke Cage and Netflix, yes, they changed around a couple things. They changed around a few things. At first, they ditched his suit. Instead of the actual costume, they made fun of the costume. And a couple of other powers, like some of writers in the comic books, they made Luke Cage, his eyes completely unbreakable, whereas in the Netflix version, his eyes are not unbreakable, because as you see, if you guys know, I'm not even going to spoil it, but there's a certain episode within Jessica Jones, if you watch Jessica Jones, that revealed that his eyes are not unbreakable. So, yes, it's okay to change around a few things, but do not forget to represent the character. And I don't even want to start in the Justice League photos, because there's a lot of things to talk about with that Justice League photo, especially the Flash suit. I know my very first Justice League reaction, I had a lot to say about the Flash suit, but because I was really excited, but as I keep seeing pictures and everything like that, for some reason I'm just upset with just how, especially his shoulders look, between his shoulders and his forearm, how Flash looks, Ezra Miller looks. I don't think that that's the right way to have Flash. I just don't think that that's the best way to do him. I mean, it makes the CW's Flash look like way better, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, guys. So, and the thing with Cyborg too, you gotta do Cyborg right. I mean, I know basically his head is just his head, and the rest of his body is completely CG, and I understand that, but you gotta do it right. Represent the characters right, get the stories right, guys. You do so well. Warner Brothers, you guys do so well. For some reason, if anyone at Warner Brothers is hearing me, which I doubt, you guys do so well with your animated films. You do ridiculously well with your animated films. You do films. You do really great, and I enjoy them. Justice League War, all the Justice League movies there. Your characters were done so well, and whoever your writers were, they did a great job. Get it together, especially with this Batman film. I will always support you guys. Go to the movies and watch your movies, because I'm a comic book fan. I like what you've done with the Dark Knight trilogy. I love what you've done with Man of Steel. BVS, I love what you've done, but if you want to really make a good name for yourself, listen to the fans. And I'm not talking about the haters and the fanboys. Listen to the true fans that can see the faults in DC and see the shining moments in DC and find a way to balance it out and say, okay, here's what we need to do. That is what you need to do, guys. So everything with Matt Reeves and the negotiations not working out and all that stuff, is it disappointing? Yes, it can be, because Matt Reeves is one of the best, in my opinion. He's a really good director. You know, The Planet of the Apes, great job. One of my favorite movies. So who knows what will happen? I mean, I hope there's still a chance for him to get back and for them to renegotiate things and for it to all work out. But everything just started going downhill once Ben Affleck said he's not going to direct anymore because, and I believe it's 100% because his movie did not do well. That's a simple fact. It's my opinion. So they gotta get that stuff together and work it out. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed my video, please do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave your comments down below. What are your thoughts on the topics I talked about today? And if you enjoy these types of videos, please answer the poll. I put it up there. It'll give me a better indication as to if I should be keeping doing more of these types of videos. All right, guys, until the next video, thank you for taking the time out to watch this one. Clockmaster out.